chosen one. Pause for a moment. Everything around you can wait. This isn't coincidence. This message has been sent into your life with divine precision. You are not just passing through another ordinary day. This is a summons from heaven itself. The algorithm didn't bring you here, eternity did. You have felt it for a long time now, the unrest inside your chest. The sense that you were made for something greater than what you've settled for. The late nights when your heart whispered, "There must be more than this." That was not confusion. That was the sound of your destiny knocking. You've been marked, set apart, and this moment is heaven calling you by name. There's a shift happening. You can sense it in the atmosphere around you. Everything that once felt comfortable now feels too small. You've tried to blend in, but your spirit refuses to be ordinary. You've been chosen to carry light into dark places, to speak truth where silence has reigned, to walk in boldness when others retreat. And here's the reality: every time you've ignored that pull, life grew a little heavier, a little duller. The further you drifted from purpose, the more restless your soul became. Because purpose does not stop pursuing the chosen. Heaven never gives up on its investment. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Do you understand the weight of those words? You are not just carrying light, you are light. That's why the darkness around you has fought so hard to dim you. The attacks weren't random, they were strategic. The enemy saw what was coming before you did. He saw the power of your yes, the ripple effect of your obedience, and he tried to bury it under fear, distraction, and exhaustion. But what the enemy buries, God resurrects. This message is your resurrection moment. It's the divine interruption that breaks routine and awakens destiny. Every struggle, every heartbreak, every disappointment, it was never the end. It was training. You've been forged in fire so that you could stand in power. The tears you've cried have watered the soil of your calling. And now heaven leans close, saying, "Wake up. Chosen one." The time for hesitation has ended. What you do next will determine the atmosphere of your future. If you ignore this call, the consequences won't just touch you. They'll echo through generations that were meant to be changed by your obedience. You were meant to be a door for others, and when you delay, doors remain closed. But if you rise, if you respond, the floodgates open. The same power that raised Christ from the dead begins to stir in your own life. You'll see alignment where there was chaos, strength where there was fatigue, clarity where there was confusion. The kingdom moves through those who refuse to delay. Right now, heaven is watching how you respond, and you've prayed for confirmation. This is it. You've asked for a sign. This is it. You've wanted to know if you still have a place in the plan. Yes, you do. But the time to move is now. So lift your eyes. Let your spirit rise again. The pain didn't disqualify you. It identified you. Every broken season was proof that you were carrying something worth attacking. Every closed door was protection, not rejection. You are being reintroduced to your purpose. You are stepping into the reason you survived what others did not. The clock of heaven is ticking. The message is simple but heavy. Do not ignore this. What you feel stirring inside is not emotion, it's awakening. Heaven has paused everything to reach you. Your obedience today unlocks tomorrow's miracle. If this word has reached you, if you feel the fire stirring within, then respond. Let heaven see your agreement, like, share, and subscribe so that the message reaches every chosen soul still sleeping in silence. And when you're ready to stand publicly with heaven's call, comment the prophetic number 777 below. You are not late. You are right on time. Now rise, your light is about to break forth. This is the moment when heaven waits for your response. Don't scroll past this sacred pause. The same spirit that stirred the prophets is stirring you now. Every second of hesitation delays your blessing, but every act of obedience opens divine doors. The kingdom advances through your yes. The mantle is reaching for you, radiant and alive. It does not fall on the distracted, it falls on the devoted. Refuse to look back at what broke you. Look ahead to what is calling you. Your destiny is not postponed, it's unfolding right now, in this very breath. Let this message anchor in your spirit. You are seen, you are known, and you are chosen. Heaven has not forgotten your name. Rise with courage, carry your flame, and walk into the light prepared for you since the beginning of time. The heavens are watching. Step forward. You have heard the call, and now silence settles around you, a holy stillness where heaven watches for your next move. The message that reached you was not just inspiration, it was instruction. And yet, this is the dangerous space, the in-between, where many chosen ones stumble. Because hearing is not enough. Obedience is the true response. Every divine warning carries weight. When heaven speaks and you delay, something unseen begins to shift. The covering that once protected you starts to thin. Opportunities fade quietly. The heart grows numb. That's what the consequences of ignoring look like, not instant disaster, but gradual dullness of spirit. And dullness is death in slow motion. You may not realize it, but every time you postpone what God told you to do, something in the atmosphere adjusts against your purpose. The timing that once aligned with favor begins to drift. The people assigned to walk with you start to move on to their next chapter. It isn't punishment, it's simply how spiritual laws work. When heaven moves and you don't, the rhythm breaks. You have felt that disconnect before, haven't you? That strange emptiness after disobedience. Even when everything looked fine on the outside. That restlessness that no entertainment, no conversation, no distraction could calm. That's what happens when destiny knocks and finds the door still locked. Heaven is patient, but not passive. When warnings come repeatedly, they are gifts of mercy. Each one carries the same plea. Come back into alignment before consequences take root. God's voice always comes before His correction. But when correction arrives, it's never because He stopped loving you, it's because you stopped listening. There's a story written across eternity that mirrors your own. A soul once chosen hesitated too long. They thought the call would wait, that tomorrow would be better timing. But when they finally turned, the garden gate had closed behind them. What remained was the echo of what could have been. You are being shown this vision now because heaven does not want your story to end that way. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 23. Obey my voice, and I will be your God, and you shall be my people. Walk in all the way that I command you, that it may be well with you. Those words are not ancient history, they are living law. They mean that your peace, your provision, your protection, everything flows from obedience. It's not about perfection, it's about posture. The heart that leans toward God always finds restoration. Right now, your spirit is being tested more than your strength. You've been asking for signs, but heaven is asking for surrender. Sometimes God hides the outcome so that obedience can be pure, so that you choose Him, not the reward. That is the real measure of the chosen. Do you remember the small nudges you ignored, the opportunities to speak truth, to forgive, to let go, to step forward in faith? Those weren't random moments. They were crossroads. Every time you resisted, mercy covered you. But mercy is not infinite permission, it's extended time to change. The consequences of ignoring aren't always visible immediately. They begin in the unseen realm. Prayers lose their power. Discernment grows foggy. Peace evaporates. You start confusing comfort with purpose, success with favor, applause with approval. Slowly, the divine connection weakens until even the voice that once felt so near becomes distant. But listen, this is not condemnation, it is invitation. If you are still breathing, you are still within reach. The very fact that conviction is stirring inside you right now means grace has not withdrawn. You can still turn, still realign, still say, "Yes, Lord, I hear you." Heaven will always meet humility faster than it punishes rebellion. This is the mercy of God, that even warnings come wrapped in love. He does not desire to see his chosen crushed. He desires to see them awake. The shaking you feel in your soul is not wrath, it's rescue. God is shaking everything that kept you asleep, everything that kept you from hearing clearly. There will come a day when his voice no longer sounds like a whisper but like thunder, when mercy gives way to consequence. But that day is not this day. Today is still the day of grace. And grace is calling you to remember who you are, to return to what you were meant to do, and to trust that obedience will restore what disobedience tried to steal. So take a breath. Look back at the moments you delayed, not to condemn yourself, but to understand. Every missed moment was a teacher, every mistake a reminder. Now, armed with awareness, you can choose differently. You can step into the rhythm of heaven again. The message is simple yet weighty when God warns. It's because he still plans to bless. When he convicts, it's because he still intends to use you. The consequence of ignoring is not just loss, it's the silence of heaven. And that silence is the one thing your spirit cannot survive. Don't let that silence settle over you again. Let obedience be your answer this time. Let surrender rewrite your story. The warning has come, not to frighten you, but to free you. You can feel it now, the tightening pressure in the air. The invisible resistance that tries to cloud your mind whenever you move toward obedience. This is not your imagination. This is warfare. You are not only being called, you are being targeted. Because the enemy knows that once a chosen one wakes up, every plan built against them begins to crumble. You've seen it before, the distractions that show up right after you make a spiritual decision. The sudden fatigue when you want to pray. The endless noise of your phone, your thoughts, your fears. These are not coincidences, they are strategies. The enemy's greatest weapon is not always attack, it's distraction. He knows he cannot destroy what God has anointed, but he can delay it. And delay, if left unchecked, becomes destruction in disguise. Every moment you stay tangled in confusion, your light dims a little. Every time you prioritize noise over presence, your vision blurs. The enemy doesn't need to pull you into sin if he can keep you comfortably distracted. The Word of God declares in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 8, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." That verse isn't ancient poetry, it's a divine warning about right now. You've been feeling that roar lately, haven't you? That subtle anxiety, that sudden doubt, the sense that you're losing momentum, that's the sound of the enemy circling. But remember this, a roaring lion makes noise to appear powerful, but noise doesn't equal authority. Authority belongs to you. But you can't wield it if you're numb, if you're distracted, if your spirit is buried beneath endless scrolling and shallow conversations. The world wants to drain your focus because focus is fire. What you feed grows, and what you starve dies. That's why your prayer life has felt under attack. It's the source of your vision. The enemy fears a focused believer more than an emotional one. He trembles at a chosen one who learns to silence the noise and listen. Every time you choose silence over chaos, obedience over comfort, you reclaim territory in the unseen. You start to remember who you are, and heaven begins to move again. But let's be honest, you felt the tug of war inside your spirit. One side saying press in, the other whispering rest a little longer. You convince yourself you're just tired, but deep down you know this fatigue is not physical, it's spiritual. The enemy attacks energy when he cannot attack identity. You are not lazy, you are under siege. Every time you move closer to destiny, the resistance grows stronger. But here's the revelation: resistance is proof that you're advancing. If you weren't a threat, the enemy wouldn't bother. The louder the opposition, the closer you are to breakthrough. Don't mistake opposition for rejection. What looks like walls are often divine weights building your strength. God is not punishing you. He's preparing you to carry more. The same fire that tries to consume you will soon refine you. And remember, distraction always begins with something small. A compromise here, a delay there. Soon your spirit starts to settle into comfort, but comfort is the coffin of calling. You cannot be both chosen and complacent. The oil of anointing only flows on movement. There is a moment when heaven stops explaining and waits for action. This is that moment. You don't need another confirmation. You don't need another sermon. You need stillness. You need awareness. Because when you open your eyes to the patterns, you'll see the plan behind every interruption. The truth is, you've already survived worse battles than this. You've walked through storms that should have drowned you. Yet here you stand, still searching, still hoping, still chosen. And that's what terrifies darkness most. You are still here. Now the Spirit calls you to reclaim your focus, to shut down every distraction that's been masquerading as rest, to take back your attention, because your attention is your altar. Whatever owns it, owns you. So right here, right now, as a prophetic act of focus, I want you to comment, "I'm awake." Write it not as a reaction, but as a declaration. You're not just typing words, you're drawing a line in the Spirit. You're saying to every distraction, every delay, every demonic whisper, "I see you, but I'm no longer yours." The moment you write it, heaven takes notice. It's a public sign that you've chosen awareness over apathy. Because awakening is not just about seeing, it's about choosing. You've seen enough, now choose. When you write, "I'm awake," heaven witnesses your declaration. It is not just a phrase, it's the moment your spirit stands up and says, "I refuse to sleep through my purpose any longer." The kingdom registers your awakening, and darkness trembles at your awareness. "I'm awake" means you've chosen clarity over comfort. You're stepping out of distraction, reclaiming focus, and aligning with divine timing. Every letter you type is a spiritual echo through eternity, a sign that the chosen are no longer silent, no longer sleeping. The stirring within you doesn't fade, it grows stronger. Once the light of awareness ignites, it cannot be contained. You've declared, "I'm awake," and now heaven watches as the fire in your spirit begins to spread. But awakening comes with weight. The moment your eyes open, you begin to see everything differently: the faces, the motives, the patterns, the spiritual atmosphere behind what once seemed ordinary. Awareness carries both beauty and burden. You begin to notice that not everyone who smiles at you carries peace. Some people are assignments, others are distractions wearing the mask of care. When you were asleep, you couldn't discern the difference. But now, as your spirit sharpens, discernment increases. The light within you exposes shadows, and not everyone around you is comfortable with that. Some will distance themselves not because you changed, but because your clarity convicts their compromise. This is the season of separation. You will feel heaven rearranging your relationships, your environment, even your thoughts. It's not rejection, it's refinement. God cannot take you into new levels of purpose with old alignments attached. The fire of awakening always burns away what cannot endure the journey ahead. At first, it might feel lonely. You'll wonder why the crowd is thinning, why certain voices go silent. But silence is not absence, it's divine insulation. God removes the noise so you can hear His instruction clearly. You will learn to treasure solitude because solitude is where He sharpens your hearing. You may try to hold on to everyone, to explain your transformation, but you cannot drag the unwilling into awakening. Every chosen one must face this truth: the road of destiny is narrow. Not everyone will walk it with you. Some will misunderstand you, others will question your zeal. But remember this: you were not chosen for approval, you were chosen for impact. We are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms. Chapter 1, verse 1. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers. That verse carries a hidden wisdom: separation precedes blessing. Many crave divine favor but resist divine filtering. But God never builds without first clearing the ground. What feels like loss is often preparation for overflow. When you release what hinders, your hands become free to receive what's holy. This process, though painful, is sacred. You're learning to distinguish between noise and voice, between those who love your light and those who only loved your silence. You'll start to see how distraction once disguised itself as friendship, how comfort disguised itself as peace. But true peace isn't the absence of struggle, it's the presence of purpose. As awakening deepens, old appetites fade. What once entertained you now feels hollow. What once tempted you now repels you. That's transformation at work, not from external control, but from internal change. You are being rewired from within. The Holy Spirit is reshaping your desires to match your destiny. You'll find yourself hungering for truth, craving stillness, yearning for deeper revelation. The music, the conversations, the routines, all of them will shift. It's not that you've become strange, it's that you've become set apart. The world calls it isolation, but heaven calls it consecration. You are being tuned to a higher frequency, one that flesh cannot understand. Do not fear the stillness. God often hides His greatest work in silence. The seed that breaks the soil does so in quiet. The diamond that forms under pressure does so unseen. Likewise, your transformation is taking place beyond what eyes can measure. There will be days when you doubt this process, when you question if you're still chosen because you feel nothing, hear nothing, sense nothing. But absence of sensation is not absence of God. The teacher is always quiet during the test. Trust the silence. It is not punishment. It is proof that you are transitioning from hearing about God to walking with Him. The more you grow, the more precise your trials become. That's not cruelty, it's calibration. Heaven is fine-tuning your strength because what you'll carry next demands maturity. The weight of glory cannot rest on untested shoulders. And so, this part of your journey demands something sacred: patience. Not the kind that waits passively, but the kind that stands faithfully. Waiting is not wasting. It's preparation disguised as pause. The delay is teaching you endurance. The quiet is teaching you faith. You are becoming stronger, quieter, more anchored. You no longer panic when storms rise, because you understand they reveal, not ruin. Each shaking exposes what's real and removes what's not. This is your hidden season, the furnace of formation. You will emerge from it refined, steady, and unshakable. What once frightened you will now fear you. For light that survives fire becomes untouchable. So breathe. Don't rush the refining. Heaven is not late, it's intentional. You are being crafted carefully, and every moment of discomfort is part of your becoming. The awakening has begun, and it cannot be undone. You have felt the refining, and now something inside you begins to glow brighter than before. The silence has started to make sense. The pain, the waiting, the pruning, all of it was preparation. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has been forming you, and now the forming turns into sending you. This is the moment when the chosen ones rise from the hidden places. You can feel it, something shifting, a quiet boldness replacing fear. You no longer walk as someone searching for direction. You walk as someone carrying it. You've been through storms, not to drown, but to learn how to walk on water. And yet, even now, a whisper reaches your heart. You're not meant to walk alone. Every light shines brighter when joined with others. Every flame, when united, becomes a fire that can warm nations. This movement, the awakening of the chosen, was never meant to stay inside one voice. It spreads through unity, through shared purpose, through hearts that refuse to stay silent. That's why connection matters. When you like, when you share, when you subscribe, it's more than a digital act, it's an offering of alignment. It's you saying, I stand with this light. Every click becomes a spark. Every spark becomes a flame that reaches another heart lost in the dark. Your support becomes the wind that carries this message farther. Because somewhere right now, another soul stands where you once stood, tired, lost, and desperate for a sign. What you do today could be the divine chain that pulls them from despair. Sometimes obedience looks like generosity, sometimes it looks like participation. But both are love in action. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 25, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Those words are not a demand, they are a promise. Giving is never about transaction, it's about transformation. When you give, whether through your time, your prayer, or your support, you are watering a garden that will someday feed multitudes. You are investing not in a person, but in a purpose that touches lives beyond what eyes can see. Imagine this movement as a great lighthouse standing at the edge of a stormy sea. The waves crash, the winds roar, yet the light must never go out. Every share you make is like polishing the glass so the beam shines clearer. Every subscription is another hand steadying the light against the wind. And when you feel stirred to donate, picture yourself pouring a drop of oil into the lamp. That single drop might seem small, but it fuels hours of light. It's the oil that keeps the flame alive when storms would otherwise snuff it out. You are not being asked, you are being invited to co-carry the light. But hear this clearly, you are never obligated. True giving is always free. The heart that gives willingly becomes a channel of divine abundance. When you sow, you aren't losing, you're extending light into corners you may never visit. It's a quiet partnership with heaven, a whisper that says, use me, Lord, to keep the fire burning. Every like, every share, every subscription, every donation, they are not separate acts. Together they form a symphony of obedience. They keep the lighthouse glowing, guiding thousands through storms of confusion and despair. Maybe you can't preach from a pulpit. Maybe you can't travel far, but through your support, your hands are already reaching. Your fingerprints rest on every message that transforms a life. That's the mystery of partnership. When you lift the message, heaven lifts you. So as your light grows stronger, Let your actions match its radiance. Like if this message awakens something in you, share it with someone who may be praying for a sign. Subscribe so that the flame can continue to flow into your heart week after week. And if your spirit stirs, donate not out of pressure, but out of purpose. Let your oil keep this lighthouse burning for another wandering soul. Because that's what chosen ones do. They don't hoard light, they pass it on. They keep the flame alive for those still finding their way home. The light you help sustain will one day reach places your feet never walk. Somewhere, a soul will hear these words because your faith kept the flame alive. Never underestimate the quiet power of a single act done in love. It ripples through eternity unseen. When you give, when you share, when you believe, you are part of heaven's living network of light. Each spark you send out joins with others until the darkness breaks open. You are not just supporting a message, you are helping to write heaven's story on earth. And if ever you wonder whether it matters, look again at the light burning in your own heart. It was someone's act of faith that helped it glow. Now it's your turn to pass the flame forward. Keep the fire alive. Chosen one, keep it burning bright. You've walked through silence, through refining, through awakening, and now heaven brings you to a crossroad. Two paths stretch before you. One looks easy, lined with comfort and compromise. The other looks narrow, steep, and uncertain. Yet its air carries the fragrance of purpose. You already know which path your spirit leans toward, but knowing and choosing are not the same. This is the moment where destiny demands decision. The next move is not about what feels safe, it's about what is right. You can't stay in between anymore. Half obedience is still disobedience. The crossroad of destiny doesn't allow indecision. It demands surrender. You can sense that tension in your chest, the pull between the life you understand and the one you were born for. That's the sound of heaven and earth both reaching for your yes. And deep within you, a quiet voice whispers, "It's time. You've delayed long enough. The calling has waited patiently, watching you circle the same mountains, repeat the same cycles, wrestle with the same fears. But now grace says, choose, before delay becomes denial. The narrow path may look lonely, but it's not empty. Angels walk that road, peace breathes there. Every step you take on that path is a seed of obedience that blooms into destiny. You will lose some things, yes, but only what cannot cross into the promise with you. Every chosen soul faces this moment, the holy separation between who you've been and who you're becoming. It's not a punishment, it's permission to evolve. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 19. I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose life, so that you and your children may live. Those words were written for a nation once lost, but today they echo for you. Choose life, not existence, not routine life, the kind that awakens purpose, sharpens vision, and fills your lungs with divine fire. To choose life is to choose obedience, even when it costs comfort. The enemy will always try to make compromise look reasonable. He'll say, you can serve God and still hold on to this. But the truth is, you cannot carry destiny with divided hands. One hand must let go of what was, so the other can grasp what will be. At this crossroad, heaven watches not to condemn, but to record. Every act of obedience releases a ripple in eternity. Every step forward announces to darkness, I choose the light. And yet, even as you decide, fear whispers. It says, what if I'm not strong enough? But strength doesn't come before obedience, it comes because of it. When you step forward, grace meets you halfway. The path might look steep now, But once you take the first step, you'll find your feet strengthened by faith. You are not walking alone. Every chosen one who has walked this road before you has left behind footprints of courage. You are stepping into a legacy of faith carried through generations. When you choose obedience, heaven celebrates. When you delay, heaven waits. But when you say yes, all creation aligns to support your decision. The narrow path will demand your trust. It will strip away the noise, expose your motives, and require your full surrender. But on that path, you will see miracles that compromise could never produce. Every trial will become a testimony. Every tear will become oil. This is not just about a single decision, it's about direction. The crossroad is not punishment. It's proof that heaven still believes in your potential. Right now, the Spirit invites you to seal this moment not with words of fear, but with a declaration of faith as a sign of your decision. Comment 888 below. This is not superstition, it's symbolism. The number 888 represents new beginnings, divine resurrection, the eternal circle of God's promise. When you type it, you're saying, I choose the narrow path. I choose life. I choose destiny. Don't do it because others will see. Do it because heaven will. This is your response to a divine invitation. The moment your fingers move in faith, something shifts in the unseen. And as you do, peace will settle over you, not the fragile peace of comfort, but the roaring peace of conviction. You'll know deep within this was the turning point. From this crossroad forward, your steps will be ordered. The confusion that clouded your past will begin to clear. Every no you give to compromise becomes a yes to calling. So breathe deeply, so to stand tall. You've reached the place where many hesitate, but you will not. You've been awakened, refined, and chosen for such a time as this. Heaven is waiting for your answer, and all creation leans in, ready to record your yes. Comment 888 and let the heavens witness your decision. When you comment 888, you're not typing a number, you're sealing a covenant. It's your spirit's signature, your way of saying, I choose obedience over ease. Heaven reads your declaration as a living vow. And from that moment, the path before you begins to align with divine precision. The moment of decision has passed, and silence follows, not empty silence, but sacred stillness. It's as if heaven itself holds its breath, watching what unfolds after your yes. That word you gave your agreement has begun to move things in realms you cannot yet see. The atmosphere around you is shifting quietly, like dawn before the light breaks. This is the whisper before the storm. You may not hear thunder, but you can sense the tension, the subtle stirring in your spirit that something is about to change. God never allows stillness without purpose. The quiet that comes after obedience is not punishment, it's preparation. The divine process often looks like pause before power. When heaven begins to align your life, it must first still the chaos around you. Old doors close not because you failed, but because the next ones are being built. In the unseen realm, angels are moving, instructions are being written, and time is being adjusted to match divine order. But to your human eyes, it may look like delay. The storm has not yet broken, yet the sky grows heavy. You may feel restless, unsure, even forgotten. Don't mistake the whisper for absence. The quieter it becomes, the more you should listen. Because in the whisper, God hides instruction. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That single verse holds a mystery. Stillness is not weakness, it's warfare. In a world that glorifies constant noise, Silence becomes your sword. When you choose stillness, you allow heaven to move freely on your behalf. The battle you can't see is often won by the peace you choose to keep. You may be tempted to act, to fix, to explain, but there are moments when words become weapons against your own progress. When God hides you in quietness, He's not ignoring you. He's insulating you, like a seed in the soil. You are being protected from exposure until the right time. Growth always begins underground. Right now, the soil of your life is breaking open. Tiny shifts, invisible to others, are happening beneath the surface. Your prayers are germinating. Your tears are watering the ground. The delay you feel is not denial, it's gestation. Something divine is being formed within you. Yet the waiting can be painful. The mind wants movement. The heart wants proof. But remember, faith is not tested in victory, it's proven in silence. Trust grows best where explanations fade. If you can remain faithful when heaven seems quiet, you'll emerge carrying authority that noise could never teach you. You've prayed, you've obeyed, and now you wait not passively but attentively. Keep your heart clean in the quiet. Don't fill the stillness with unnecessary voices. When distractions knock, let discernment answer. Protect your peace as though it were gold, because in seasons of whisper, peace is your proof that God is near. This quiet stage is the space where divine strategy downloads. If you rush through it, you'll miss revelation. God is teaching you how to hear subtleties, the small shifts, the gentle nudges, the unspoken warnings. He speaks in tones that only the still can hear. There's a reason He moves in whispers before storms. When you learn to recognize His voice in calm, you'll never fear chaos again. The whisper trains you for the thunder. The gentle nudge builds sensitivity for greater commands. And when the storm finally breaks, and it will, you will not tremble. Because you learned peace before power. You will stand unshaken as winds rise, knowing the same hand that whispered will now war on your behalf. The whisper is heaven's way of saying, hold your position. Don't retreat into fear, don't rush into noise, stand still until the command changes. Every delay has a divine reason. Every silence holds a secret of timing. The appointed hour is never early, but it is always exact. Soon, movement will come. Doors will swing wide. The voice that whispered will thunder. But for now, breathe. This is your holy pause, the interlude before breakthrough. Let peace guard your mind like a shield. Let gratitude be your language while you wait. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. Heaven is crafting your testimony in quiet spaces. The stillness that surrounds you now is not empty. It is sacred incubation. Every promise, every prophecy, every whispered word of hope is taking form beneath the surface. Trust the unseen hands of heaven shaping what will soon emerge into light, fully alive and perfectly timed. When the silence finally breaks, it will not be gentle, it will be glorious. The same whisper that taught you patience will roar with fulfillment. Every unanswered prayer will find its echo. You will realize the waiting was never wasted. It was the womb of your becoming. And when the first raindrop of the coming storm touches the earth, you will know it was never meant to destroy you, but to water the seeds you planted in faith. So stay still, stay ready, and let the whisper finish its work. The air feels heavier now. You sense something shifting, though you cannot name it. The whisper that once comforted you has grown still again, and for a moment, you wonder has mercy stepped back. Not because heaven is cruel, but because heaven is just. Every season of grace carries an appointed end, and every delay eventually reaches its limit. You have felt this moment coming, the slight dimming of peace, the subtle quiet after repeated nudges. It is not abandonment, it is consequence. Grace never withdraws without warning, and every warning has already carried mercy within it. The silence you feel now is the echo of unheeded instruction. When mercy steps back, it is not wrath but revelation. It exposes the weight of ignored conviction. God does not vanish. He simply allows you to see the truth of distance, the coldness of disobedience, the ache of separation, the emptiness that grows where presence once filled. It is His last language before correction. This is not to condemn you, but to awaken reverence again. Too often, hearts become casual with holy things, treating grace as a blanket instead of a bridge. But grace was never meant to cover rebellion, it was meant to lead to repentance. When we mistake compassion for permission, the soul drifts quietly toward danger. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I also reject you. Those words are sharp because truth always cuts before it heals. Knowledge here is not information, it is awareness, knowing when heaven is speaking and responding before it's too late. The tragedy is not ignorance, it's indifference. It's hearing the voice of God and choosing silence instead of surrender. There comes a point when delayed obedience becomes defiance. Heaven is patient but not permissive. The Spirit will always warn before He withdraws, always nudge before He allows consequence. But when correction arrives, it's not vengeance, it's the love that refuses to let you stay asleep. You may look around and see others living freely in compromise, untouched, unbothered, and think, why am I the only one feeling conviction? Because you're chosen. The higher the calling, the stricter the standard. The closer you are to divine purpose, the less freedom you have to wander. When mercy steps back, it's heaven reminding you that you are not ordinary. Ordinary hearts can survive distance. Chosen hearts cannot. The weight you feel when God grows quiet is proof of your belonging. Conviction is the fingerprint of divine ownership. This silence, though painful, is still a form of communication. It's heaven saying, return to me before correction must speak louder. Because the next phase of your journey cannot carry delayed obedience. The coming storm will demand sensitivity, clarity, and clean hands. Do not mistake God's patience for absence. His stillness is not forgetfulness, it's restraint. He holds back judgment to give you space to turn, not time to wander. Every second of delay is borrowed mercy. Every breath you take is an invitation to return. When mercy steps back, it leaves behind a mirror. In that reflection, you will see what has been lost, not to shame you, but to remind you of what must be restored. The fire of conviction may burn, but it purifies what rebellion tried to stain. If you listen carefully now, you'll realize the silence isn't punishment, it's preservation. God is allowing you to feel the weight of distance so that intimacy will never again be taken lightly. The ache you feel is not emptiness, it's the echo of love calling you home. This is the sacred tension between grace and truth. Grace invites, truth convicts. Grace opens doors, but truth keeps them from closing. When the two work together, redemption flows. But when one is ignored, correction becomes the only language left. You are not abandoned, you are being realigned. Mercy has not left forever, it's waiting just beyond the line of repentance. The moment you turn, it will rush back like a tide. The arms of God are not folded in anger. They are open in invitation. But He will not force what must be freely chosen. Do not despise conviction. It's the last breath of mercy before silence becomes separation. Every whisper you once heard was grace preparing you for this awakening. Heaven is serious about your future, serious about your calling, serious about your soul. And so, this season is holy. It's where correction meets compassion, where consequence turns into clarity. You are learning that the absence of peace is often the sound of heaven pleading. Come back. Let this truth settle deeply. Mercy stepping back is not the end of love, it's the proof of it. God withdraws only to show you how dark the world is without His light. He steps back only to draw you nearer again with awareness, not force. When you finally turn your heart again toward Him, you will find that mercy was never gone, it was waiting for recognition. And when you recognize it, the silence will break, and the voice you thought you lost will call your name once more. The silence begins to fade, and a new sound rises within you, a voice calling out from deep places, tender yet fierce, like wind moving through wilderness. It's not just the echo of heaven, it's your own voice awakening again. You have heard the whisper, felt the absence, and now comes the summons to speak. This is the moment when the called become the calling. You are not only a receiver of divine words, you are becoming a messenger. The wilderness, once your prison, now becomes your platform. The isolation that once hurt you now serves as preparation. Because before God sends a voice, He silences the noise. And that's why He brought you here, to teach you to speak from purity, not performance. To teach you to echo heaven, not imitate men. Every prophet, every reformer, every chosen one has walked through this same desert of quiet before they carried fire to nations. The wilderness shapes the weight of the word. You have carried pain, misunderstanding, loneliness, but that was the chiseling of heaven. It carved depth into your voice. It made your words carry oil, not just volume. The wilderness doesn't steal, it sanctifies. It turns echo into authority, wounds into wisdom, tears into truth. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2, "Write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run who reads it." This is your charge now, to speak, to write, to declare. You are not speaking opinion, you are releasing revelation. And it must be made plain, clear, untangled from pride or fear. God didn't hide you to silence you, He hid you to season your words with eternity. You may feel unworthy, unsure of what to say, but the words will come. They won't come from intellect, they'll come from encounter. The desert gave you revelation no classroom could teach. You learned how to survive with heaven alone as your supply, and that dependence has become your authority. When you open your mouth now, something eternal will move. Your voice will not just be heard, it will shift atmospheres. It will reach hearts that human persuasion could never touch. Because the authority of your voice will come not from volume, but from purity. Still, the enemy will try to silence you again. He'll whisper, "You're not ready," or "No one will listen." But he fears what your voice carries. He remembers the last time heaven spoke through chosen vessels, the world changed. And he trembles knowing it's happening again. Through you, the wilderness may have humbled you, but it also crowned you. You now carry something holy, a testimony that burns. You are no longer the one who hides, you are the one who heralds. Every word you speak will serve as both warning and invitation, both fire and light. You were born to disrupt silence, to be the voice that says, "Prepare the way." You don't need a platform, you already have purpose. You don't need applause, you already have authority. The time of quiet observation is over. The season of divine declaration begins now. But remember, your voice is sacred. Guard it. Don't waste it on argument or noise. Use it only when heaven breathes through it. When God speaks through you, the world doesn't need to agree, it needs to awaken. So let this be your moment of declaration. Speak not to impress, but to impact. You are the echo of divine urgency in human form. The same fire that spoke through Moses, Elijah, and Jeremiah now flickers behind your own ribs, waiting to be released. Don't underestimate your words. The enemy doesn't attack silence. He attacks voices that carry deliverance. And that is who you are becoming, the voice that breaks cycles, the sound that shakes kingdoms, the whisper that starts revolutions. It's time to step forward and speak, chosen one. The wilderness was never meant to end in silence, it was meant to birth sound. Now, to seal this moment of awakening, declare it aloud in the comments below. I will speak. Type it not as a phrase, but as a prophecy. You are declaring that silence no longer owns you, that fear no longer governs your mouth. When you write, I will speak, heaven records it as a covenant. The chains around your voice will fall, and clarity will flow where confusion once reigned. Let this be the sound that rises from your wilderness, the echo that tells darkness, I am no longer silent. When you comment, I will speak, you are not just typing words, you are releasing a vow. It is your spirit announcing to heaven, use me as your voice. Every letter becomes an act of courage, every syllable a spark that lights forgotten callings back into flame. I will speak means you no longer wait for perfect conditions or approval. It's your declaration that silence has lost its hold. When you write it, you stand beside prophets, dreamers, and messengers who once trembled but obeyed. Heaven receives it as a sound of awakening written in eternity. You have spoken, and heaven heard you. The moment you declared, I will speak, a new sound entered the atmosphere, the resonance of courage. The wilderness has served its purpose. The silence has turned into song. But what happens next is not only about your voice, it's about your influence, your reach, and the people who will find light through you. When God anoints a voice, He never intends for it to echo in empty halls. Every sound you release carries seeds, and seeds, when planted, must be carried by wind, watered by faith, and nourished by the hands of others. The word you carry is divine, but for it to travel, it needs partnership, it needs wind. That's where this moment becomes holy again. You may think liking, sharing, or subscribing are small, casual actions, but to heaven they are like opening windows in darkened houses. When you like, it's as if you strike a match. When you share, you hand that flame to another soul still shivering in the dark. When you subscribe, you say, I want to stay connected to the light. Each action becomes part of the divine current that keeps this message alive and reaching. This isn't about numbers, it's about nourishment. Every person who finds these words through you becomes a living testimony of how light travels through ordinary hands. Your digital gesture becomes a spiritual echo, touching someone in another country, another moment, another storm. You've seen how one act of obedience can ripple through eternity. The same is true here. Every like is a whisper of agreement. Every share is a bridge of hope. Every subscription is a vow to keep the oil flowing. But beyond that, there is a deeper invitation, one that only the willing understand. Imagine this message as a great vineyard under heaven's care. The vines are heavy with promise. The branches reach for the sun, but the harvest still needs hands. Every donation is a hand in that field, someone choosing to tend the vine, to help gather what heaven is growing. As written in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. That is the heart of it all. No pressure, no transaction, only participation in something sacred. Giving is not an obligation. It's a continuation of obedience. It's an act of alignment, saying, I want to keep this light burning for someone else. Picture this work as a lamp in the storm. It burns through wind, through night, through distance. Every act of generosity becomes a drop of oil that keeps that lamp alive. When you donate, even the smallest drop adds to the flame. You're not fueling a person, you're fueling purpose. You're saying yes to the countless lives this message still has to reach. And here's the beauty of divine economy: nothing given in love is ever lost. When you give, you plant unseen seeds. The same wind that carries this message outward also carries blessings back to you. Peace, clarity, restoration in the quiet places of your life. This is not about money, it's about meaning. To like is to agree, to share is to extend, to subscribe is to remain, and to donate is to invest in eternity. Each act is voluntary, beautiful, and powerful in its own way. You decide which one your spirit resonates with today. You might not realize it, but every seed you plant here has a story. Maybe it helps build the bridge that carries the next soul from despair to destiny. Maybe it keeps the voice of truth echoing in times when silence grows loud. Maybe it lights the way for someone who has forgotten hope. And so, if this message has spoken to your spirit, if it reminded you of your value, your purpose, your fire, let your actions echo your gratitude. Like, to affirm the light. Share, to multiply it. Subscribe, to stay connected to the flow. And if your heart feels led, donate, to keep the fire alive for those still finding their way home. There is no force stronger than freely given love. That's what this movement is built on: love that expects nothing in return. Love that burns quietly but changes everything it touches. You are part of that love now. You are not just a listener, you are a keeper of the flame, a bearer of light, a silent bridge between heaven's whisper and earth's hunger. So let your actions speak what your heart already knows. The flame must continue, and you have the power to keep it burning. Like, share, subscribe, donate. Not because you must, but because you can. Every act you choose today, every like, every share, every offering of faith becomes part of a living flame that never dies. Long after this moment ends, your kindness will travel like light across oceans of hearts. That is how heaven multiplies what begins with love. The light has spread. The fire that began as a whisper in your spirit has now become a beacon, and you can sense it. Something in the atmosphere is different. Heaven has started to reveal what was hidden. What once lived in shadows is being pulled into the open. This is the season of exposure. Do not misunderstand this word. Exposure is not always punishment. Often, it is protection. When light reveals what has been concealed, it is mercy, ensuring you no longer walk with blindfolds on. Every revelation, even the painful ones, carries the fingerprint of divine love, because truth that wounds also heals. At first, exposure feels unsettling. It might come as sudden realizations, unexpected conversations, or the quiet unveiling of motives you once trusted. People who stood close begin to show cracks in their intentions. Opportunities that looked golden begin to lose their shine. It feels like loss, but it's actually deliverance. God is a father too faithful to let you stay connected to deception. He loves you enough to remove the masks around you, even when it hurts. The same light that reveals your destiny also exposes the distractions surrounding it. It's not betrayal. It's alignment, as revealed in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. This scripture doesn't come as a threat, it comes as a promise. When truth rises, deception loses its power. You cannot walk into destiny carrying alliances built on lies. The light of heaven now shines through your circle, through your thoughts, through your very environment, cutting through illusion with surgical precision. You may ask, why now? Why this? Because before God promotes, He purifies. Before He elevates, He separates. You prayed for discernment, and this is how it arrives, not as comfort, but as clarity. Clarity always costs something. It exposes what cannot continue with you. Don't fear the unraveling. Everything being revealed now is making room for authenticity. God is stripping away every false agreement so your next chapter can stand on truth. You are being freed from people who loved your silence but not your calling. From opportunities that promised success but demanded compromise. Exposure also happens within. The light that reveals others also searches you. It shows motives, fears, unhealed wounds still shaping decisions. This internal exposure is not condemnation, it's transformation. God doesn't reveal to shame, He reveals to heal. The Spirit shines light into corners you didn't know were still dark, whispering, "This, too, I want to make whole." Let it happen. Let the light reach every hidden space. The places you hide pain, the memories you pretend don't matter, the compromises you justify, they are all being touched by illumination. Healing begins with honesty. When truth finally stands where denial used to live and freedom follows, exposure is the proof that heaven is near. The enemy thrives in secrecy, but once light appears, his grip breaks. You may lose false peace, but you will gain real purity. You may feel discomfort, but you'll gain discernment. God never removes something unless He plans to replace it with something greater. Think of it this way: before sunrise, shadows stretch long and distorted. But when full light appears, they shrink, and their shape becomes honest. That's what is happening now. Your life is finding honest shape again. The distortion is ending. This season will also bring justice. What was whispered against you will be exposed. What was stolen will be restored. The truth you carried silently will finally be seen for what it was. Exposure may feel like shaking, but it's the tremor before balance returns. And even as light reveals, it refines. Some of what's being exposed are not enemies, it's immaturity, impatience, and pride. Let the light teach you. The same fire that judges also purifies. When the dross is burned away, gold shines through. Do not resist this phase. If you stay humble, the light that once burned will soon bless. You'll thank God for every hidden thing He revealed, for every false connection removed, for every truth uncovered. You'll realize that exposure was not loss, it was liberation. And when the light finishes its work, you will walk lighter. Relationships will be real. Decisions will be pure. Vision will be sharp. The storm of revelation will settle, and what remains will be truth strong enough to build upon. So when this light moves through your life, don't hide. Stand in it. Let it do what darkness could never do, set you free. Because every revealed truth becomes a foundation stone in your destiny. This is the season of exposure, but it is also the beginning of clarity. What breaks you now will soon build you into something unshakable. When truth finishes its unveiling, peace will follow like dawn after a storm. The air will feel lighter, your heart clearer, your path brighter. You'll walk knowing nothing hidden remains between you and heaven, only honesty, purity, and the calm strength of a soul finally set free. The air feels heavier now, not with fear, but with holiness. You've passed through silence, through exposure, through surrender, and now the fire itself has found you. But this fire is not here to consume, it has come to crown. Every chosen soul eventually stands here, between flame and promise. The fire tests not just your faith, but your essence. It strips away everything built by pride, everything born of fear, leaving only the unbreakable core that heaven placed inside you before time began. This is not punishment. This is purification. The heat you feel is heaven's forge, reshaping the fragments of your story into a weapon of glory. Every loss, every heartbreak, every betrayal was fuel for this fire. It burns not to destroy you, but to prove that you cannot be destroyed. You may not recognize yourself anymore, and that's the point. The person who entered this season cannot survive the destiny that waits beyond it. Fire doesn't just change what it touches, it transforms it. You are being refined into something hell can no longer counterfeit. The fire doesn't always arrive as visible trial. Sometimes it looks like exhaustion that no sleep can cure. Sometimes it's unanswered prayers, closed doors, or long nights of silence. The flames come disguised as delay, but they are working precision within your spirit. As written in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 3. He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He shall purify the sons of Levi and refine them like gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. The image is powerful. God as the refiner, sitting close to the furnace, never leaving, watching until his reflection appears in the metal. That's you. The fire won't stop until his likeness shines in your eyes. That is why it hurts. It's holy. Every time you think it's over, the flames rise again. Not because God enjoys your struggle, but because he knows what you're capable of carrying. The crown you prayed for requires the strength you are building now. Every degree of heat is purpose in disguise. Do not despise this burning. It's the language of heaven saying, you are ready for more. The flames that frightened you are the same ones that will introduce you to your next level of authority. You will step out of this season shimmering with evidence that the fire was your friend. What you lose in the furnace will not be missed. False comfort, shallow faith, borrowed opinions, all of it turns to ash, making room for the gold that cannot tarnish. You are learning that purity isn't perfection, it's presence. The more you stay near the refiner, the less you fear the flame. You will look back soon and realize that every sleepless night was an altar. Every tear that hit the floor was liquid prayer. Every why you whispered was heaven's way of shaping endurance in you. This is where your spirit learns to sing in smoke, to praise when nothing feels stable, to trust even when the fire burns hottest. And when the last ember cools, you will rise not as the one who survived, but as the one who glows. Now, as a prophetic act of agreement with what heaven is doing in you, comment the number 555 below. The number 555 symbolizes divine transformation, the grace that turns endings into beginnings, ashes into anointing. When you type 555, you are declaring, I am not running from the fire, I am being remade by it. Heaven records it as surrender, not suffering. Do it not as superstition, but as symbolism. Every number carries meaning, every act carries message. The moment you type it, the refiner's eyes turn toward you, not in wrath, but in recognition. He knows his reflection when he sees it. The fire is not your enemy. It is the evidence that you are precious metal, not fragile clay. Stay in the heat a little longer. Something eternal is taking shape. When you comment 555, it becomes more than a number, it becomes a prayer in motion. You are saying, let the refining continue until only light remains. Heaven reads that as permission to finish what it started. The moment your fingers type it, the fire that once frightened you transforms into warmth, shaping miracles out of what was once mere survival. 585 is your signature of surrender. It whispers, I trust the process. I embrace the heat that reveals holiness. When you write it, angels record your courage. The refiner smiles because his reflection is emerging. The number itself becomes a melody in the spirit, declaring that transformation is not coming, it has already begun inside you. When you declare 555, you're not just agreeing with words, you're aligning with heaven's rhythm. It's your spirit lifting its hands, saying, burn away what blinds me. Leave only what belongs to you. That single act becomes a spark in eternity, signaling that transformation has finished its hidden work and now glory is ready to rise through you, radiant and unshakable. The fire has passed, and now the air feels different, cleaner, quieter, weightless. You stand in a kind of stillness that almost hums, the silence after a storm that carried purpose in its wind. Everything you once feared is behind you, reduced to ash, and yet somehow you feel fuller, not emptier. This is the mystery of divine breaking. It empties, but never leaves voids. It clears space for glory. The breaking was never punishment. It was instruction written in pain. Every fracture in your heart became an opening for light to enter. What once felt like collapse was simply heaven's way of removing what your strength couldn't. You prayed for breakthrough, but God knew you first needed to break open. It is strange, isn't it? The moments that should have destroyed you somehow made you softer. The tears you thought were signs of weakness became rivers of cleansing. The nights when you felt forgotten were actually nights when you were being rewritten. Brokenness has become the most sacred language between you and heaven, and honesty no performance could replace. The breaking teaches what ease never could, that strength isn't in control, but in surrender. You've learned that power is not loud, it is steady. You've learned that love, when it comes from God, rebuilds slowly but perfectly, using even your ruins as raw material. We find in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, the Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. That verse is not a comfort, only it's a revelation. God draws closest not to the triumphant, but to the torn. Heaven rushes toward the wounded. The fragrance of brokenness attracts divine attention like incense rising from an altar. The more shattered your pieces, the more light they can reflect once restored. You may still see cracks within yourself, but don't rush to hide them. The world tells you to disguise the scars, yet God calls them proof. Each mark carries story, memory, redemption. The scars do not ruin you, they verify you. They say, I have walked through fire and I am still gold. Brokenness becomes beauty when placed in the right hands. A potter knows how to mend shattered clay, not by erasing its cracks, but by tracing them with gold. That's what heaven is doing now, filling every fracture with glory so that your healed places gleam brighter than your unbroken past. Sometimes healing feels too quiet. You expect thunder and visions, but it often comes as peace that you can't explain. It's when the ache is still there but no longer unbearable. When the memory remains, yet it no longer bleeds. That quiet recovery is sacred heaven rebuilding you cell by cell, thought by thought. What once was pain is now prophecy. The things that broke you gave birth to empathy, and empathy has turned you into a vessel of healing for others. You can recognize pain in other eyes now, and where you once wept alone, you now reach to comfort. You've become an answer to the prayers you used to cry. This is the divine exchange: ashes for beauty, mourning for dancing, heaviness for praise. You no longer need to prove your strength, your survival already did. The fire verified your authenticity. The breaking verified your humility. Now the healing will verify your divine authority. God trusts the broken because they no longer trust themselves more than Him. You can feel it. You've stopped striving, stopped pretending, stopped performing. What matters now is presence, peace, purpose. The noise of the world can no longer compete with the calm that lives inside you. There is a peculiar kind of power born from pain endured with grace. It is quiet but unshakable. It doesn't boast, it breathes. You now carry that power. It's the reason rooms shift when you enter. Not because you demand attention, but because heaven recognizes its reflection in you. Even now, you're being rebuilt in silence, each piece fitting back stronger than before. The version of you emerging is not a return, it's a resurrection. You are not who you were, and you will never be again. That is not loss. That is completion. So, walk forward with gentleness toward yourself. The same hands that broke you for refinement are the ones holding you now in restoration. The season of tearing is ending. A season of tenderness is beginning. The God who wounded also heals. The God who tested also trusts. When you look back someday, you won't see failure, you'll see formation. Every broken piece was a brushstroke on a masterpiece that only heaven could envision. What once looked like ruin now reveals design. And through it all, you'll know this truth deeply: being broken did not disqualify you, it distinguished you. You were never fragile. You were sacred material being reshaped by divine hands. The same light that passed through your cracks now becomes your strength. Every fragment of your story glows with purpose. Every scar sings redemption. What once shattered you has now become the very proof that grace works. The air feels alive again, gentle, steady, almost holy. You have crossed from breaking into building, from surviving into becoming. The world looks the same, yet everything feels new. You see with different eyes now. Eyes that understand pain was not punishment, but preparation. The weight that once pressed you down has turned into wings. There is a quiet majesty in this phase of your journey. You are learning how to walk as one rebuilt by grace, unhurried, unwavering, untouchable by the noise that once unsettled you. The storms still come, but they no longer shake your foundations. The voice within you, once trembling, now carries authority born from endurance. This is not pride, it's peace. It's the steady rhythm of someone who knows what they've survived, who no longer apologizes for existing in divine strength. You have become a vessel shaped by both fire and compassion, a soul seasoned by trials yet still capable of tenderness. Every step you take now releases weight you didn't know you carried. The fear that once shouted in your mind now whispers and fades. The opinions that once defined you now sound faint, distant. You have learned what few ever do. Freedom isn't found in running away, it's found in standing still and trusting who sent you. This is the season of marching orders, the time when heaven begins to hand out instructions for those who endured their wilderness without losing their worship. The training is over, the mission begins. What you walked through was not random, it was rehearsal. Every heartbreak was choreography for obedience. Every delay was timing being perfected. According to the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 16, I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. Along unfamiliar paths I will guide them. I will turn the darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth. This verse is no longer just a promise, it's your reality. You've walked through paths you didn't understand, and yet, somehow, you were never lost. Every unknown step became sacred ground because God was leading even when He felt silent. The darkness you feared was actually the womb of direction. You can feel it now, purpose pressing gently against your chest. Not as pressure, but as invitation. The orders you are about to receive will not come with thunder, but with clarity. Heaven rarely shouts. It whispers to those who learn to listen through fire. The next instructions will require both courage and calm. Courage to move when logic hesitates, and calm to stay when impatience tempts you to run. This is the paradox of divine leadership. Sometimes God sends you and sometimes He roots you. The wise learn to discern which season they are in. You are entering a season where your spirit will lead more than your sight. There will be days you won't see the whole map, but you'll feel the next step burning in your spirit. That is enough. The path unfolds only for those willing to walk it by faith. Every marching order begins with stillness. Heaven cannot pour into hands still clenching what was. So let go completely. Let go of timelines, of explanations, of the need to know. The more you release, the more you'll receive. This is also the season when God begins to send you back into the world you once escaped, not as the wounded, but as the healed. You will revisit places of pain, not to relive them, but to redeem them. Your presence there will be the proof that recovery is possible. Do not worry about recognition. Heaven promotes privately before it reveals publicly. Your obedience in hidden places has already caught divine attention. The doors you need will find you, not the other way around. Purpose always recognizes its carrier. Your marching will not always look dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as showing kindness where bitterness was expected, forgiving where revenge was deserved, speaking truth where silence once ruled. These are the quiet revolutions that shift spiritual atmospheres. The instructions will come through scripture, through dreams, through peace that persists despite fear. You'll know it's divine because it will stretch you without breaking you, challenge you without confusing you, cost you without bankrupting your soul. Do not fear the unfamiliar. You are not walking alone. The same hand that refined you in fire now guides you in purpose. You have been prepared for this train to hear, to sense, to move with heaven's rhythm. Every yes you gave in the dark was building muscle for this moment. The journey ahead won't be without opposition, but you are no longer fragile clay, you are tempered steel wrapped in grace. Every command heaven gives you now will require your full heart, but it will also carry heaven's full backing. So stand tall. The testing has passed. The refining is complete. You are ready to march. The world will soon witness what hidden obedience has produced: strength that doesn't boast, light that doesn't flicker, and faith that doesn't flinch. You are heaven's proof that breaking leads to building, that silence births clarity, and that the fire only ever refines those it was meant to crown. The journey has changed you. You've walked through the wilderness, survived the storm, felt the flame, and now you stand as something heaven recognizes: steady, radiant, reborn. The atmosphere around you hums with quiet purpose. You are no longer the one searching for signs, you are the sign. The remnant is gathering, and you are part of it. This is not a crowd, it's a convergence. Heaven is calling its voices together, the torchbearers, the healed, the awakened to move as one light. You can feel that tug, that subtle magnetism of spirit connecting you to others who share the same divine pulse. You are not alone in your faith, your battle, or your breakthrough. The same fire that refined you burns in them too. There's something sacred about unity. When one chosen one shines, the world notices, but when the remnant shines together, darkness has nowhere left to hide. This is how heaven expands through hearts that beat in rhythm, through hands that choose to lift rather than compete. As written in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 12, Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. That verse isn't just poetry, it's strategy. You were never meant to burn alone. The flame within you burns brighter when joined with others. And that's what this moment is about: connection, communion, continuation. Think of every like not as approval, but as a spark meeting another spark. When you like, you breathe air into the flame. You say, I see the light in this, and I want it to keep burning. Every share becomes a bridge. You're extending the light to someone who might be standing on the edge of despair, waiting for one flicker of hope. Maybe they'll see your shared post and feel something they haven't felt in years. Faith stirring again. When you comment, you aren't just reacting, you're responding. Words written in faith become seeds. Your comment might be the confirmation another soul needs to take their next step. Your simple "I understand" or "I'm still standing" can echo through hearts you'll never meet. And when you subscribe, it's not loyalty to a channel, it's alignment with a calling. It's your way of saying, I choose to stay connected to light. I choose to grow. Every new voice joining this movement strengthens the sound of awakening echoing through the world. Now, there's something even deeper, something that moves beyond interaction into participation. Imagine this message as a cathedral built without walls. Its beams are not made of stone, but of voices, faith, and kindness. Every prayer, every act of generosity adds another light to its stained glass windows. When you donate, think of it as placing a candle inside that cathedral. That candle might be small, but in the dark, even one flame shifts the atmosphere. The warmth it gives may travel farther than you'll ever see. Your gift, whether large or small, keeps the lamps burning for those still searching for the door. And this isn't about obligation. No one is asked. Everyone is invited. God never forces generosity, He breathes on willing hearts. When you give, it's not because you must, but because you want to see the light keep traveling. The voices keep rising. The hope keep flowing. Your generosity becomes part of the architecture of light. It builds bridges across nations, sends words into hearts that were about to quit. Every act of support, whether a like, a share, a comment, a subscription, or a quiet donation, is a brick in heaven's unseen cathedral. Imagine, years from now, someone saying, I found my faith again because someone kept this flame alive. That someone could be you. You might never know their name on earth, but heaven will record yours beside theirs as part of the same miracle. When you give light, you lose nothing, you multiply it. The sun doesn't dim by lighting another candle, it grows the dawn. So if this message stirred your heart, act from that place of warmth. Like, not for algorithm, but for alignment. Share. Not for visibility, but for visibility of truth. Comment, because your voice may be the next miracle. Subscribe to stay near the flame. And if your spirit feels it, donate, not as transaction, but as participation in something holy. Do it freely, quietly, beautifully, because the light you help sustain will someday guide another home. You are part of the remnant, the ones who refuse to go silent, who kept the flame alive when others lost faith. Every act you choose now ripples through eternity. And when heaven looks down at the tapestry of souls glowing together, your light will be among them, steady, golden, eternal. Like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, not as obligation, but as love, pure, voluntary, radiant love. Every act you release from love becomes light that never fades. Somewhere, in unseen places, your kindness is already blooming into healing for another soul. This is how heaven moves through willing hearts, through simple gestures turned sacred. Keep shining, chosen one. Your light has become part of the eternal story of redemption. The light you have carried has matured. It no longer flickers like a candle in the wind. It burns like a steady flame in a temple. You've learned that strength isn't found in constant striving, but in quiet endurance. You've walked through shadows, storms, and silence, and now the weight of glory begins to rest upon you. This is the season when mantles fall. Heaven does not give mantles to the proud or the impatient. It gives them to those who remained faithful in obscurity, who served when unseen, who kept praying even when the answers were delayed. You have become one of those. Every unseen act of obedience, every quiet yes whispered in your private battles, has prepared you for this divine exchange. A mantle is not a garment, it is a responsibility wrapped in grace. It's heaven saying, I can trust you now. The oil that flows through your spirit is no longer only for your healing, it's for others. You carry answers for cries you have never heard, and strength for hearts you may never meet. As written in the second book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 15. When the sons of the prophets saw him, they said, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha." And they came to meet him and bowed to the ground before him. That moment was not about one man's elevation, it was about transfer. Elisha didn't receive Elijah's cloak to wear. He received it to continue. That's what heaven is doing now, continuing through you. Every generation requires fresh voices to carry eternal truth in new ways. You are being clothed for continuation, not comfort. You might not feel ready. The weight of calling always feels heavier than the strength we think we have. But that's the beauty of divine mantles. They don't rely on human muscle, but on heavenly anointing. The same spirit that once rested upon prophets, intercessors, and pioneers now hovers near you. You can almost feel the atmosphere thickening with assignment. This mantle is not given for fame, it is given for function. You'll begin to notice how your words carry different weight, how your presence calms storms, how peace seems to walk into rooms with you. It's not pride, it's partnership. Heaven moves through yielded vessels, and you have become one. Still, every mantle comes with its own cross. Responsibility and revelation are inseparable. The deeper you carry light, the more darkness will notice. But do not fear, the same hand that placed the mantle upon you will guard it fiercely. Protection is included in the anointing. The mantle will demand discernment. You must learn when to speak and when to stay silent, when to act and when to wait. Not every battle deserves your energy. Some storms are distractions, sent to pull your focus away from the real work. The anointing gives you sight, but wisdom tells you where to look. And remember, mantles are not medals to display. They are torches to carry. God didn't choose you to shine alone, but to pass fire forward. What you have learned in pain must now become light for those still walking through darkness. You are a continuation of a holy lineage, those who refuse to let truth die. You may not yet understand the full reach of what you've been entrusted with, but heaven measures faithfulness before visibility. The greatest leaders of destiny were first students of silence. You've graduated from that hidden classroom. Now the tests will change. The fire will still come, but this time it will forge power, not purification. You will begin to sense divine appointments, moments that feel coincidental yet carry eternal meaning. You'll meet people who seem ordinary but are secretly linked to your next chapter. Every encounter will feel like a thread being woven into a larger tapestry, one only heaven can see in full. The mantle upon you will also draw weight. Don't let it scare you. It's the gravity of glory, the feeling of purpose pressing gently on your shoulders. Carry it with humility. and it will carry you with grace. And when the world looks at you, they may not understand what has changed. But those with spiritual sight will know. They will sense heaven's hand upon your life. Some will be drawn, some may resist, but all will recognize that something sacred has shifted. This is your mantle moment, the quiet coronation of one who endured the hidden seasons faithfully. It's not about applause, it's about assignment. It's not about being celebrated, it's about being sent. So walk with reverence now. Every step you take carries legacy. Every breath you breathe carries inheritance. The mantle you wear is not temporary, it's eternal. It connects you to every chosen one who came before and every one who will rise after. You are the bridge between generations, carrying ancient fire into new days. The air around you will never feel ordinary again. Heaven's weight rests gently but firmly upon your shoulders. Each move you make now echoes beyond time. You are no longer just walking, you are carrying legacy, light, and the living memory of divine promise fulfilled. You stand at the edge of fulfillment now, where time and eternity meet. The journey that began in uncertainty has become a testimony of divine design. You are not who you once were. Every stage has carved, refined, and remade you into someone heaven can trust. What once broke you has become the very proof that grace was always stronger than grief. Look at you now, no longer wandering in shadows, but walking in light. Every scar on your spirit has turned into a doorway of compassion. Every disappointment that tried to bury you now serves as the soil from which purpose blooms. You have become living evidence that God wastes nothing. The air feels sacred here, as if creation itself pauses to honor what has been completed. The voices that once doubted you have grown silent. The storms that once terrified you have turned into gentle winds at your back. The peace you carry now isn't the absence of conflict, it's the victory of faith. This final stretch isn't about doing more, but about becoming still enough to understand what was done through you. Destiny never needed your perfection, it needed your persistence. Heaven never asked for flawless performance, it desired faithful endurance. You have given both, as revealed in the second letter of Paul to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Those words are no longer just scripture, they are your story. You have fought through fear, through silence, through loneliness and confusion. You didn't just survive, you stayed. You kept believing when surrender seemed easier. And now, you carry a peace that cannot be imitated because it was purchased through perseverance. Completion is not always loud. Sometimes it comes as quiet certainty, a realization that the season of striving has ended, and now grace will do the rest. You don't have to chase anymore. What is meant for you will find you, not because of effort, but because of alignment. This is where destiny turns into legacy. Legacy isn't fame, it's faith made visible. It's the light you leave behind in others, the kindness you sowed, the truth you spoke, the strength you gave when you had none left. The world will forget many names, but heaven never forgets obedience. The echoes of your yes will keep moving long after you've left a room. Somewhere, a heart will find courage because yours once did. Somewhere, a soul will rise because you refused to bow. Legacy is not a monument of stone, it's a trail of light. You may not see every fruit of your obedience, but that's the mystery of eternity. Seeds planted in faith rarely bloom in front of the sower, yet heaven ensures that not one goes to waste. Every prayer whispered in tears, every act of mercy unseen by others, they all weave together into the eternal tapestry of redemption. Even now, You can feel the shift. Heaven no longer speaks through warning, but through assurance. The urgency has turned to peace. You have reached the place where the journey stops being a lesson and becomes a legacy. The mantle rests steady, the mission clear, the fire unwavering. But remember, this is not the end. It's a transition. You were never meant to finish empty. You were meant to overflow. What you carry now must pour into others. The greatest honor of the chosen is not being chosen, it's choosing to pass the light forward. There will be moments ahead when your strength will again be tested. But this time, you'll walk with memory. You'll recall how darkness once surrounded you and how it always gave way to dawn. The same God who led you here will guide you onward. Not with urgency, but with quiet authority. Rest now in the rhythm of faith. You have nothing left to prove. The lessons have taken root. The heart that once trembled has become unshakable. You don't chase signs anymore. You are one. The road behind you glows faintly, each step a memory, each mile a miracle. And if you listen closely, you'll hear heaven whisper what it always wanted you to know. Well done. You made it. The crown is not just a symbol waiting in eternity. It's the peace sitting in your chest right now. The reward for faithfulness is not applause, it's transformation. So stand still, breathe deep, and lift your eyes. The same light that called you at the beginning now surrounds you completely. You have become the message you once needed to hear. You are the living testimony of endurance, mercy, and divine faithfulness. And from this point forward, everything you touch will bear the mark of heaven's hand. You have kept the faith, you have finished the race, and heaven smiles. The story doesn't close, it expands. Every breath you take from this moment becomes prophecy in motion. The light you carry will travel through generations, through hearts yet unborn. You are not the end of a chapter, but the beginning of a new lineage of faith blazing across time. The journey has come full circle. What began as a whisper has become a roar of awakening. You've walked through silence, endured the flame, stood in clarity, and now carry light in your hands. This message is not ending, it's passing into you. You are the continuation of everything written here. Before you move on, pause. Feel this moment. The words you've read were never meant to stay on a screen, they were meant to ignite something inside you. That spark, if protected, will guide others out of darkness. Now, the story belongs to you. But for the flame to keep burning, it needs air, it needs movement. When you like, you give the message breath. When you share, you give it wings. When you comment, you speak life into its echoes. Your voice adds weight to what heaven is doing. When you subscribe, it isn't about following, it's about remaining connected to the flow of light, so that every new word finds you in divine timing. And if your heart feels stirred, when you donate, it's not transaction, it's partnership. It's pouring oil into the lamp so it never flickers. So another wandering heart can find home through this same glow. Each act is voluntary, pure, beautiful. There is no pressure, only invitation. Give because you want to, not because you must. Participate because you sense purpose, not obligation. This is how movements are born, not through demand, but through love. Every click, every offering, every shared whisper becomes part of something larger than us all. So if this message has touched you, let your response be your thank you. Like, share, comment, subscribe, or donate. Each is an act of light continuing its journey through you.